So, Sal, have you lost faith in Ezekiel Elliott?
Yeah, it's a wrap in terms of me believing in him. Now it's on him to prove to gain back my belief. Full disclosure, I was a running back for most of my career. Childhood, Pop Warner legend, you know, top 5 all time. High school years, even college, senior year, getting looked at by all the pro teams. I end up being a second rounder. You know what? I was a running back and defensive end my last 2 years in college. No time before that. So I know the position. I don't know it as well as Ezekiel Elliott. I didn't reach the heights he did, obviously. But I do know the position. And I do know what it looks like when someone else is better toting the rock. I also know what it feels like when you're in a running back by committee situation. Let's talk about this because I had to do some quadruple checking. Like, I had to go layered on this because I didn't want to come out with no hot take about Ezekiel Elliott. Let's just start here by saying the reality. The play calling is consistent, y'all. Fans out there say, no, they're calling different. No, they're not. They're calling the same plays. And if you still want to argue, I'm going to say this to you. It's the same offensive line when Tony Pollard's out there, when Zeke's out there. Okay, we got that handled. We got that straight. Now let's talk about my quadruple check. First thing is, I saw it live in person. I went to the game last week. I saw Ezekiel Elliott doing just that right by my seats. And boy, is he still a rock star. He's a rock star. I'll give you that. I saw it live in person. I was like, I see he's leaner. I see he's quicker. I just don't know if I see the tenacity to make this work. But I didn't want to go there until I started to do my homework. Then I come in, I start doing my homework on the regular numbers. The regular numbers, full screen time, start to show you that, damn it, woo, Ezekiel Elliott, you can't act like you better than that dude behind you. 27 rush attempts to 16, 104 to 123, 385 to 76. What the hell? You mean somebody who is getting basically fewer attempts than me, almost half, is beating me in production and certainly by rush yards per average. Take that off the screen. Let's go. Now I had to do a deeper dive. I said, let's do a deeper dive. I started to notice that Zeke's runs, they were a little different than Pollard's runs. Pollard was going wide and diagonal. Zeke was going short and vertical. And then I said, I read an article about it. Talk about how Zeke doesn't trust his home run capability, doesn't trust his speed anymore, doesn't trust where the holes are actually being created. Then my deep dive took me into this. You know what? Ezekiel Elliott has had 18 touches to Tony Pollard 16, 10 yards per play. You know Ezekiel had 2 of them and Pollard had 5 in that Charger game. Carries of 1 yard or fewer. Basically, they call them the Barry Sanders plays. Like you're going backwards and nothing, setting up the home run. Ezekiel had 6 of them. Pollard had 0. I did my last check. Did all those 3. I said, what's the point? What's your summary? And then 3, not 1, not 2, 3 drunk people at the game came up to me. Hey, Marcellus, why isn't Tony Pollard the starter, man? And I was like, and I put that on everything. 3 different dudes. First of all, invaded my space and COVID. Doesn't Tony Pollard start? If the drunks know it, and me, who played the game, knows it, I know you know it, Jerry Jones. It's a wrap, Zeke, man. What's going on with you? I lost faith in you.
I'm with you, Sal. And again, in an effort not to be hot takey, I over-researched to make sure we're not tripping.
Yes.
Zeke has played in 73 games. After each of his previous 72, he was a Cowboys leading rusher. But on today and on Monday, after the 73rd, he was no longer the Cowboys' leading rusher at that point in time in the season. It was Tony Pollard. Since Tony Pollard entered into the league, he ranks 5th in yards per carry, while Zeke ranks 31st in yards per carry. Y'all are looking at it right there. Zeke's been on the decline each and every year in yards per game. But honestly, disregard yards per game and look at the column to the right. Look at yards per carry. Because yards per game can be skewed. Oh, they used to hand him the ball a lot more. Well, now let's just see what you do when they do hand you the ball. And unfortunately, Zeke's just not doing the same thing. We can kill the full screen. They've seen enough. The fact is, Zeke is not the explosive runner he once was. And because he has gotten slimmer in order to be just as explosive, he's not the power runner he once was. So now, while Zeke was trying to acquire his speed back, he lost his power. While he was acquiring his power, he lost his speed. And now, ultimately, at least from a defense perspective, he's just rendered not as useful. I look at it like this. Jerry Jones has said, it's a good problem to have. Tony Pollard and Zeke Elliott, it's a good problem to have. The operative word there is still problem. You can call it a good problem. You can call it a bad problem. You still have a problem. Don't tell me that Zeke is thunder and Pollard is lightning, because Zeke is supposed to be the whole monsoon. You pay him $90 million to be thunder and lightning. Yeah. I don't want to have thunder or lightning. Zeke was supposed to be both. You don't draft running backs in the first round that early like Zeke, unless they are both thunder and lightning. Cowboys, I know they've lost faith in Zeke. That's why Tony Pollard getting so many carries.
Yes, Tony Pollard went from what? 7 touches in week 1, 16 touches in week 2. Love that take. There are no coincidences when it comes to NFL personnel. No coincidence. When they start saying, hey, Wiley, let Dingle get a couple of those third downs. You know what it means? Wiley, you ain't getting to the quarterback like we expect, like we anticipate. You don't increase your opportunities unless you're deserving of them. They're upstairs all the time, these coaches, sit behind closed doors, dog cursing us, talking good about us, talking bad about us based on our performances. But then they come out to us, and then they try to be diplomatic. And I understand Jerry Jones right now trying to be diplomatic. He should try to preserve the little confidence that Ezekiel Elliott still possesses. But I ask you a couple of questions. How many backups are leading their team in rushing? Anybody? How many backups are beating their starter in that production, huh? How many other fourth rounders are beating the number 4 overall pick in any category? This is what Max Kellerman really meant when he said falling off a cliff. He just said about Tom Brady. He should have said about Zeke. This is the facts of the matter. Zeke is in decline and is on pace right now to have a career low in rushing yards per game, 52. 52? Goodness. And rushing average. He's had just 2 100-yard rushing games since the start of last season. That guy right there, Ezekiel Elliott. And Zeke has failed. Oh, that's Pollard. Zeke has failed to eclipse 75 rushing yards in 4 of his last 5 games. I played running back by committee. I remember the time when I was up here and it was a committee, you're sitting there mad, like, why ain't getting my touches? When it gets like here, you start to say, it's the line, they're blocking different. It's the play calling, it's blocking different. When it looks like this, you got to look in the mirror, bro. Ezekiel Elliott, I knew he was in trouble, and I didn't want to come out here and say it and proclaim it when he said, I'm in the best shape of my life when he lost weight. Zeke, that's for the 39-year-old Ben Roethlisberger to say. You saying that right now in your prime? Oh, that means you trying to recalculate because you don't like what the results are looking like right now.
Here's the other thing, and Cowboys fans, honestly, Zeke, Jerry Jones, Mike McCarthy, Kellen Moore, anybody a part of the Cowboys offense, y'all have to understand. Pollard ranks first in the league right now, 7.7 yards per carry.
The league.
Zeke ranks 29th in the league right now, 3.9 yards per carry. I understand it's a small sample size, but what that means is we need to see a larger sample size to see how this shakes out. What that means is this upcoming game, Pollard needs to get more carries than Zeke because we got to see, is it a fluke or is it not? We got a 2-year sample size. Since 2019, Pollard is 5th and Zeke is 31st. This season, Pollard is 1st and Zeke is 29th. At this point in time, the only reason Zeke would be getting more carries than Pollard is because Zeke gets more dollars than Pollard. But Cowboys, which one is it going to be? Y'all trying to win chips? Y'all trying to honor contracts? Because I think you should try to win chips. So it was mind-blowing when I realized Zeke will make $564,000 a game this season.
Come on, man.
Tony Pollard will make $850,000 the entire season. So Zeke will make more money than Tony Pollard in a game in halftime.
He already has.
By halftime of the Chargers game.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
Zeke made more money than Tony Pollard will make for the rest of the season.
Okay. And that's the problem. They try to play him because they know they already paid him. And I get that. And look, nobody likes to lose money. Nobody likes to see their money get burnt up or benched. Here's the problem. It's not just Tony Pollard and his $850,000. It's Elijah Mitchell, $843K. Damian Harris, $850K. These guys on other teams have more production than Ezekiel Elliott with those same numbers. How about guys with better rushing averages? Antonio Gibson. I'm going down the totem pole in terms of expectation, even though these are some good guys. Myles Gaskin, Tyson Williams, Ezekiel Elliott, he's household. You can just say Zeke. You ain't even got to go all that. You ain't got to do all them syllables. Zeke. And he is in this position right now. I'm only talking to him from the position and perspective of a guy who was up high and then found himself down low. And I know what that road looks like. And let me just tell you something. This looks awfully familiar. You fight. You do everything you can. You're trying to change your exterior. You're looking at the interior, but you're doing it privately. You have people vouching for you. Oh, no, it can't be you. It can't be you. And then reality. A fourth rounder, no diss, Tony Pollard on your team, barely getting the touches you get, is outshining you. Ezekiel Elliott, man, I don't even know what to say other than they're going to keep playing him and hoping. But then after this year, he got an $18 million cap hit. Next year, $16 million cap hit. Oh, it's going to get real out there in Dallas. And it's going to be different for you, Zeke.